Now, to begin today's video, we actually pick up with Superboy right now in some kind of dark room. He also has Krypto, the super dog, with him. Now, with this moment right here, this actually takes place at the very end of our story. So after this point of the video, we're going to jump back in time to see what led up to this moment. Who in the world was able to capture Superboy and Krypto, the super dog? But right before we are able to see who had captured him, well, that is the moment he is kicked in the face and knocked out by someone. Now, we do jump back in time where we actually pick up with Superboy right now walking to the police station. Now, the reason why is because in our earlier videos, we actually watched Superboy break into the bank and took some money. Now, the reason why he did that is because in his mind, he was just borrowing the money. He was going to pay it back. But in reality, he stole the money. Because when it comes to Superboy, with him being born out of a tube, and only being born at the age of like 16 or 17, he's still learning how life works on Earth. But with that being said, he's telling Bunker, his close friend on the Teen Titans, that he's going to go to the police station to turn himself in because he stole the money. Now, on the way there, he is greeted by Dr. Psycho. Now, when it comes to Dr. Psycho, Psycho is one of those powerful psychics in DC Comics. Now, this is his first appearance in our videos over Superboy, but in reality, he first appeared in Superboy number 18. We skipped over that issue in number 19 to jump to this storyline right here. But either way, you do have Superboy right now talking to Dr. Psycho. And the reason why is because Dr. Psycho tells Superboy that he needs his help. At the same time, Superboy needs his help as well. Now, you do have Dr. Psycho tells Superboy that apparently he knows everything about Superboy. And that right there scares Superboy. Well, it really makes him angry. Because when it comes to Superboy, everyone he has met so far except the Teen Titans has used him as a weapon, and he hates that. And so when someone appears and tells him they know everything about him, he's kind of like, great, someone else who wants to use me as a weapon. And so he sends Dr. Psycho flying away to leave him alone. Now, right after Dr. Psycho got sent flying away by Superboy, and right when he lands, well, that is the moment he is confronted by Dreadnought. Now, Dreadnought is a new villain we have not seen, but on top of that, Dreadnought is only going to appear in this video right here. After this storyline, he is gone. Matter of fact, he's only here for this moment. Now, when it comes to Dreadnought, Dreadnought is actually part of a new evil organization at this point in the New 52 known as H.I.V.E. Now, there was an evil H.I.V.E. organization before the New 52, but because this is or was a new era for DC Comics, they were trying to rework what H.I.V.E. was. Now, with that being said, Dreadnought is here to capture both Dr. Psycho and Superboy. And so you do have Superboy try to fight against Dreadnought. The problem is every time Superboy punches Dreadnought, well, Dreadnought just keeps getting more powerful by the second. And so it seems like whatever Superboy tries to do, it is not working. And the question is, why in the world he's not able to just punch out of this situation? Now, that is the moment you actually have Dr. Psycho realize why Superboy is losing to Dreadnought, because there is another person there known as Siphon. Now, Siphon has the ability to siphon energy or psychic energy from other people to give it to Dreadnought. And so with that being said, Siphon is right now drawing the energy off of Superboy telekinesis powers and handing it over to Dreadnought. And when it comes to Dr. Psycho, his powers is also being drained by Siphon and given over to Dreadnought. And that is why Superboy is losing the battle against Dreadnought at the moment. Now, with that being said, you do have Dr. Psycho find a way to actually defeat Siphon. And with Siphon being defeated, that means Dreadnought is not getting more powerful like he was earlier. Matter of fact, he goes back to his base level. And so with him being back to normal, that does give Superboy the chance to actually defeat Dreadnought. And of course, now you have Superboy wanting to know, why in the world is Dr. Psycho here for? What in the world is going on, and who is H.I.V.E? Now, once Superboy and Dr. Psycho are able to sit down and talk to one another, well, that is the moment you have Dr. Psycho tells Superboy that Dreadnought and Siphon are part of a new organization known as H.I.V.E. And H.I.V.E. is going around grabbing people who are very powerful in the psychic field because they want to use them for different reasons. And that is why Dreadnought and Siphon are here, to recapture Dr. Psycho, but to also capture Superboy. Because when it comes to Superboy, he has the ability of telekinesis. And so with that being said, of course, now H.I.V.E. wants to grab him as well. So you have Dr. Psycho asking Superboy if the two of them can work together to bring down H.I.V.E. and protect other people that H.I.V.E. could be after. And of course, you do have Superboy say yes. Now, we do jump over to Detective Lore. Now, Detective Lore, we have been seeing her in a lot of our videos. And all we know is that she is from the 31st century. On top of that, she does have some connections to Harvest, the big bad guy in our earlier videos. But of course, she is very tied into Superboy at the moment, and everything Superboy does could change her future. And with me saying that right at this moment, that is when a lot of her tech begins to disappear. And with her tech disappearing, that tells her something is going on with Superboy. And the question is now, what in the world is he doing that is changing the timeline that right now is getting rid of her technology she brought into the present day? Now, we do pick up with Superboy and Dr. Psycho back at Superboy's apartment. With that being said, you do have Dr. Psycho looking at different articles about different psychic things happening all over the city. And with him seeing that, he realized that H.I.V.E. is gonna go after those people that these articles are talking about. And so you have Dr. Psycho say he should go out there and find these different people, and him and Superboy should protect them from H.I.V.E. And so you do have Dr. Psycho begin to turn himself into his astral form so that he is able to find these other psychic people who are in the city. Now, you do have Dr. Psycho being able to find a girl, and her name is Sarah. Now, with Sarah, she is actually able to see Dr. Psycho. That is something that should not be happening at the moment. And so that means if he is able to be seen by her, that means she is also a psychic. But that is the moment you have Dr. Psycho realize that she was also captured by H.I.V.E. and him and her both broke free from H.I.V.E., which means sooner or later H.I.V.E. is going to be here to grab her and him. Now, as soon as she sees him, well, that is the moment a random creature appears, and his name is Decay. Now, with Decay being here, of course, that means he wants to grab Sarah and possibly bring her back over to H.I.V.E. Now, you do have Dr. Psycho thinking that he'll be able to actually stop Decay from grabbing Sarah, but right when Decay is able to grab onto Dr. Psycho, he begins to use his powers on Dr. Psycho, and his name gives his powers away. When he touches you, your body begins to decay. And so even though Dr. Psycho is in his astral form is being pulled apart thanks to decay abilities, which of course sends Dr. Psycho's astral form back to his body. He begins to freak out to Superboy because Superboy can tell that something is wrong with Dr. Psycho. But that is the moment they realize that something is about to pop in the front door of Superboy's apartment. Of course, the person or thing that was coming in the front door of Superboy's apartment was really just Crypto, the super dog, who of course came here to see Superboy, and of course you have the two of them excited to see each other. But you do have Dr. Psycho tells Superboy that they need to find the person he just found who possibly is going to need their help to protect that person from H.I.V.E. Now, you do have Superboy and Dr. Psycho, and of course Crypto, the super dog, being able to find Sarah in the alleyway, where you do have Superboy being able to calm her down, which I really like for the character because it shows that he is evolving and he is able to communicate with people who are in danger. But either way, you do have Sarah tell Superboy, Crypto, and also Dr. Psycho that Decay is still following her, and sooner or later he's gonna try again to grab her and to bring her back over to H.I.V.E. But you do have Superboy kind of tell her that he's going to protect her from Decay, and that right there really does comfort Sarah down so that she is able to go with Superboy, Dr. Psycho, and Crypto to get something to eat. Now, you do have Dr. Psycho and Superboy being able to take Sarah to a nearby diner because of course she is very hungry because she has been on the run from H.I.V.E. for a very long time. But after she eats a good amount of food, well, that is the moment she begins to tell Superboy and Dr. Psycho everything they want to know about her and H.I.V.E. And she says that H.I.V.E. did capture her and they began to run tests on her over and over again. But while they were doing that, of course, you had Sarah say Decay appeared. And when he appeared, he killed all of the scientists in the lab. Now, after he did that, the whole building began to calm down, which of course, it freed everyone who was captured by H.I.V.E., including Dr. Psycho. Now, after that, you have Dr. Psycho realize, yeah, that is how I escaped, because of you. Now, while they're talking, of course, that is the moment you have Decay just appear and begin the process of attacking Superboy and Dr. Psycho. Now, you do have Superboy and Dr. Psycho try to fight against Decay. The problem is all of their attacks are not working on Decay. Where Decay is being untouchable when it comes to them attacking him, but when he attacks them, all his attacks land. And so you have Dr. Psycho and Superboy wondering what in the world can they do to actually stop Decay. Now on top of that, you have Dr. Psycho realize there is some kind of connection with Decay and Sarah. And so that is the moment you have Dr. Psycho think he knows how he can stop Decay and Sarah both. That is the moment you have Dr. Psycho realize Decay is actually part of Sarah. Decay is Sarah's powers. She's able to manifest this demon being or this creature because of what H.I.V.E. had did to her. Because remember, H.I.V.E. is going around capturing different people who have psychic abilities. With that being said, they had captured Sarah and began to run tests on her, which of course unlocked her powers, which is to manifest Decay. And so Decay and Sarah are connected as one, but Sarah never knew that. And so you have Dr. Psycho tell Superboy, listen, Decay is just her, but we have to find a way to stop her to stop Decay. Now, this section of the story does get wrapped up very quickly because you do have Superboy being able to use his telekinesis to kind of attack the brain of Sarah, not in a very violent way, but as a way to knock her out, so that he's able to pass her over to people who could possibly help her to get her better. But with him seeing her, that of course made him really believe that what Dr. Psycho said is true, that there is a H.I.V.E. organization going around grabbing people and doing evil things to them. And so of course now he wants to shut down the H.I.V.E. organization. Now, of course, we do pick up with Detective Lore. Now, Detective Lore, remember, she is looking for Superboy because Whatever he's doing at the moment is apparently changing her future, and so she wants to stop that. The problem is when she gets to her apartment, or his apartment, sorry, Superboy is already gone. And so now the question is, where in the world did he go to? But getting back over to Superboy, we see that him and Dr. Psycho are trying to figure out what in the world is going on at a certain high school. Apparently, there have been a lot of students that have gone mad and crazy at this hospital. And so with that being said, you have Superboy and Dr. Psycho think that this could lead into a future H.I.V.E. problem. Now, you do have Superboy go to the high school and pretending that he is a new student, but in reality he is just there looking for information that could help him figure out what in the world is going on. Now, you do have Superboy get into a fight on his first day at school, and the reason why, because one of the girls, or a lot of the girls, found Superboy really attractive, but one of those girls that found him attractive has a boyfriend. With that being said, the boyfriend does appears, and he realized what his girlfriend is doing by using Superboy as a way to make him jealous. And of course, it does lead into a fight between the two fellas. Now, when it comes to Superboy, he does not use his super strength against the bully. He does let the bully actually beat down on him, but he does use his telekinesis as a way to make the bully's pants drop. Now, with that happening, of course, everyone begins to think that Superboy is some kind of freak or weirdo, and they do not like him. Except one girl does like him, and this girl is going to try to befriend him and hopefully possibly help him figure out what in the world is going on at this high school. And this girl's name is Alyssa. Now, with Alyssa, of course, she is not one of those popular people at the high school, and that kind of works for Superboy, because right now everyone at the school looks at him as some kind of weirdo, some kind of freak. But she does befriend him, and this begins the process of possibly these two getting close just enough to help out Superboy, because he is pretending to be the new kid at the school. Now, while she is walking him to his first class, that is when he looks at one of the students and their face changes into some kind of demonic being, and that freaks him out, and he has no idea what in the world is going on. But when he looks at that kid again, that face is now back to a regular human face. But he realized that maybe he was just seeing things. Now, when it comes to Superboy, he makes everything so difficult at this high school. What I mean is that in every single class, he begins to give the teacher a hard time, and the teacher did not like that. And so you have the teacher send him to the counselor, and then he makes the counselor angry, and the counselor sends him over to the principal, and then he makes the principal angry, and so then the principal sends him over to the superintendent, and then he also makes that person so angry, but of course that person says, okay, we can't expel you because you only been to school for like 3 hours. Go back to class and we'll just go from there. But with that being said, Superboy hates school because he is so smart. He thinks that school is just pointless. On top of that, he thinks that all the teachers are just dumb. But either way, they can't expel him, so he's able to stay at the school for the time being. Now, when Superboy and Alyssa get into the hallway, well, that is the moment they see that the same guy Superboy got in a fight with earlier is right now freaking out. What I mean is that he's in the hallway saying that someone is attacking him. Of course, there is no one there. And so with no one being there, it's so confusing on why in the world he is saying that. Now, you do have Superboy step in to help this guy out, because at the process, he is hurting people. He's hitting people because he believes they're also trying to attack him. And so you have Superboy jump in to stop him. Now, when he does stop him, everybody in the high school now looks at Superboy as some kind of crazy person or some kind of weird dude who just beat up on some guy who could possibly be mentally ill. Now, you do have Superboy think that possibly Alyssa could be behind everything. And the reason why, because she's one of the many kids who are not popular at this high school. But over the years, a lot of popular kids were mean to her. On top of that, when that popular kid earlier that got knocked out by Superboy got taken away to the hospital, she did not feel bad for him at all. In her mindset, he deserved what he got. And so with those things, it's Superboy saying, okay, Alyssa could be the one behind all of these random episodes happening to random students at this high school. But either way, when you have Superboy try to catch up to Alyssa, well, that is the moment he begins to see demons around him. Like every single student turn into some kind of demonic creature. And of course, he begins to freak out. He's wondering what in the world is happening, and really, is Alyssa behind all of this? Now, to make matters even worse for Superboy, well, that is the moment Crypto appears, and Crypto begins to attack Superboy. And so right now you have him believing that whoever is behind this, even if it is Alyssa, was she able to actually control the body of Crypto and maybe Dr. Psycho as well? Now, when we jump into the next chapter, you can tell right off the bat that Superboy is seeing things. What I mean by that is, while he's trying to fight against Crypto and what he believes demons are all around him, you do have Dr. Psycho trying to talk to Superboy to tell him that he is seeing things in the wrong way. But of course, the Superboy, he believes that Dr. Psycho has also been taken over by whoever could be possibly behind all of this. Of course, that could still be Alyssa as well. Now, once Superboy had taken out Dr. Psycho, he believes that he should also take out the demonic beings that are surrounding him at the moment. Now, he has no idea that these demonic beings are actually the students. And so right now, he does use his telekinesis powers on them. Now, when he does that, everything turns back to normal. Of course, now everyone at the school knows that he is Superboy. And of course, when it comes to Superboy in the public news, he is known as a crazy person. And so every single student begins to run away to get away from him. Now, that is the moment he realized that Alyssa is not behind all of this, because right behind Alyssa, there is another student. And this student does kind of look like she could be behind everything. And so you have Superboy say, I have to go after her because she could be the one behind all of this mess. Now, here comes more problems for Superboy, because you do have Crypto appear, and Crypto does seem to be back to normal, even though it is all Superboy going crazy. But either way, you do have Superboy send Crypto after the person he believes that could be behind all of this. Now, when Crypto is able to catch up to that young girl who could possibly be behind all of this, well, that is the moment you have Crypto fly through the wall. And with that happening, you have Superboy think, what in the world just made Crypto fly through the wall like that? Because he's just as strong as Superman. But that is the moment you have Superboy see himself coming out of the wall. And so right now, we're about to have Superboy fight against Superboy. Now, you would think our Superboy would be able to actually defeat the evil Superboy. But here comes the problem though for our Superboy. He is getting his butt kicked by this fake Superboy. None of his attacks are working, But when it comes to the fake Superboy, all of his attacks are working, which of course confuses Superboy because he's wondering why in the world he is losing this battle. But that is the moment he realized that something is up with his attacks and himself as well. Now you do have Superboy realize who is behind all of this, because that is the moment you have him realize that he was attacking himself. And with him attacking himself, he was able to grab the cell phone of Alyssa to look around, to see that the girl he saw earlier after Alyssa is the one behind all of this. Now, right when he puts the camera on her, that is when she passes out. And he realized that he did not do that. And that is the moment where he is confronted by Psycho Pirate, who is going to be another character introduced to us in this crazy storyline. Now, this is the moment where I should possibly tell you that when it came to this storyline in Superboy comics, it was actually a tie-in to what was going on in Superman's comics, which was the Psy War. Now, over in Superman, that war was not an actual event, but of course DC made these books as tie-ins to that storyline over there. But of course, they did not call that an event. Now, getting back to the storyline, you do have Superboy surprised to see Psycho Pirate. Now, when it comes to Psycho Pirate, he's a very interesting character, but he does have the ability to play with the emotions of people around him. Now, that is just one of his many abilities. And so right now, he's kind of here talking to Superboy, but he does tell Superboy that he is not here technically to hurt Superboy, but to actually help him. And also to help the students, because in this generation, students are going through so many things, they kind of need him there to help control their emotions. But before he's able to explain why he is here for Superboy, that is the moment someone attacks the mind of Psycho Pirate. Now, that is the moment we come to find out who attacked the mind of Psycho Pirate, and of course it was Dr. Psycho. Now, with Dr. Psycho being here, of course that means he's trying to help out Superboy, because remember, these two are working together. But that is the moment you actually have Psycho Pirate say, listen, if you think I'm the one lying to you, you are in for a huge surprise, because in reality, the person who is lying to you is Psycho Pirate instead. Psycho Pirate is lying to you, and you should have realized that over time he's getting stronger, because he's feeding off your psychic energy to get stronger. And so that is the moment you have Superboy wondering, is it true that what Psycho Pirate is saying about Dr. Psycho, that Dr. Psycho is actually using him to get stronger? And Psycho Pirate is throwing out a lot of evidence to show that maybe, just maybe, Dr. Psycho is actually a bad guy who is using Superboy. But if that is true, does that mean is H.I.V.E. an actual evil organization or possibly a good organization? Now, while you have Psycho Pirate kind of giving Superboy all the evidence to show that why Dr. Psycho cannot be trusted, that is when we get the origin of Dr. Psycho by Psycho Pirate. And you have Psycho Pirate tells Superboy that when it came to Dr. Psycho, when he was a young boy, he was kind of hated on by everyone around him except his parents. But the problem is, one day when he went home, his parents just magically forgot about him, where it seems like everyone around him had no idea who he was, where he was. It seemed like everything about him was completely erased. Of course, that was H.I.V.E. doing, because they found out that Dr. Psycho is one of those powerful psychics in the world, and so of course they wanted him, which they did get him. But then we come to the point where you had Sarah and her manifestation decay being able to break out him and her and the rest of the people that H.I.V.E. have captured over the years. Now, When it comes to Dr. Psycho, he wants to get stronger. He wants to rule the world. The problem is he has to go around and find psychic energy. And of course, that was the moment he found, of course, Superboy, somebody who he could feed off of to get stronger over the time. Now, this does actually lead into a big battle between Dr. Psycho and Superboy, but before we dive into that battle, I want to point out why Superboy is even madder than he should be. And the reason why is because, remember, when it comes to Superboy, over time, different people have used him over and over again as a weapon. And when he was created, of course, he was used as a weapon, or he was made to be a weapon. And so when it came to Dr. Psycho, he really felt like somebody was trying to connect with him, to be with him. And of course, come to find out that Dr. Psycho was just using him again as a weapon. And so with that being said, it does lead into a big battle between Dr. Psycho and Superboy. But because Psycho Pirate is there to actually help out Superboy, the two of them work together to actually defeat Dr. Psycho, where it seems like maybe, just maybe, for once in his life, he has the ability to relax. Now, at the very end of their battle actually ends in a draw. What I mean is that because they're using their energy against each other, they both pass out. And that leads us right to the moment where our story started off at, where you had Superboy wake up in some kind of dark room. And of course, Crypto, the super dog, is with him. But when he woke up earlier, he was kicked in the face and he was knocked out. Well, we come to find out who kicked him in the face, and of course, it was Psycho Pirate. And so the story ends there because, again, this storyline only ties into what's happening over in Superman comics, which is the Psy War. But with that being said as well, the next storyline for Superboy is another crossover with Supergirl and Superman, and of course the return of Hell. And that storyline is going to be a crazy one. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please hit the like button down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video.